You're entering the Lucha Lounge. Hey everybody, hope you had a great weekend. Hope you had a good Labor Day. Hope you had a good night of viewing Raw. Hopefully you're looking forward to ECW. By the time this is loaded, ECW will have come and gone. Again, this is Steve DeMarco, host of the Lucha Lounge, a place where we can talk about anything. I want to first thank everyone who subscribed, everyone who viewed, everyone who commented, all the questions, definitely the video responses, and mostly the support. I thank everyone who took the time and who's now a subscriber, just bothered to even come visit the Lucha Lounge. I hope you visit more often. This week's video, or this episode, will cover video responses to those, a little Q&A, probably 3 to 5 questions, and if time allows, you'll get story time with Steve DeMarco, kind of an inside view of an event in my wrestling career and what I was thinking at the time. I will be drinking tea. I apologize. That is scrumptious. Video responses. I got 3. One from the Randy0136, Calvin 8 Hobbs, and last but certainly not least, Truth Slayer. So I'll cover the one who most responded last. So the first is the Randy0136. In my opinion, his video was mainly just a plea to TNA of what TNA should do, so it really wasn't a response to mine. It was probably a piggyback response, similar to what I did to get noticed in the first place, so I don't have a problem with it. That's fine. Anybody want to put added videos, responses, that's cool. And at some point I will cover TNA, WWE, and Ring of Honor as far as my views on them, probably in the next 1 or 2 episodes or videos. Calvin 8 Hobbs had a video response, and his video, I'm a Mark and proud of it. And I thought it was a very well done response, and really he kind of agreed with me. I think he's got the quote so far as I'm concerned, as the viewer versus wrestler thing, or viewer wrestler differences, or just differences in overall, with the comment that he didn't need to be a chef to know if a meal was bad, something to that extent. I don't want to paraphrase or quote directly, but it may not be a direct quote, but thought, hey man, right on, touche. I like that he brought up that Cena's kind of earned his respect, and I think a lot of people, if they kind of take a step back and look at what the guy goes through, you know, I think respect he's definitely earned on many fronts. I also liked his mention of the SummerSlam main event between Orton and Cena, and how some people were critical of it, even though Orton's working a headlock, and he's probably one of the best guys at working that one maneuver, but we'll cover that in a little bit. And obviously, Calvin 8 Hobbs actually gave me some, was the first person to really ask me a question that was wrestling related and really got me started on this, so he gets much kudos from me, and I look forward to any response on his part. Truth Slayer was the last one, and I think he's a very knowledgeable guy, definitely knows his wrestling, he's a very big fan of it, and I really liked a lot of what he had to say. A lot of the points we do pretty much agree on, and hey man, a person who critiques it or is a critic of it, I think ultimately we're all coming from the same place. We're all fans of it. We all want it to succeed. Hopefully no one really that is critical of it is trying to break down the business or hurt it. So I don't necessarily have a problem with it. I think we're all in this world together, so we all get along. Or should, at least. He did ask my opinion. Do smart wrestling fans make for a better wrestling product, is I think what he was getting at. And I think it can work twofold. I think it can work to an advantage for the wrestling business as well as it can hurt it. I like wrestling fans who are knowledgeable. At least I feel there's some common ground there, as opposed to them just being pure spectator. Now they're actually taking a vested interest in learning about it. And if they're appreciative fans, much like ECW's old fans, the Japanese fans, probably the Ring of Honor fans, I'll even say, and some, sometimes when you see the TNA fans and WWE in certain areas, it can work. I like a very appreciative crowd, a loud crowd, a crowd that feels they're part of the show because their response or how they respond to something helps out. The one area that I have problems with smart fans is when they think they really do know what's going on. Especially the rumor sites that may not really have an insider, have that quote-unquote reliable backstage source. That is where I had it. Same thing with wrestling journalists who kind of put their own spin or own views. Smart fans are great, except when the line gets blurred, I think. But I always look forward to fans who want to talk about wrestling and who are knowledgeable about it. But it's really interesting to watch a wrestler watch a wrestling show and a fan watch a wrestling show and just watch the differences. It's kind of interesting. Maybe at some point if I do a Lucha Lounge, I might show the differences. Because I do have friends who are not in wrestling, but I have plenty of friends who are in it. So hopefully that answered their questions and responded. And again, I look forward to responses, questions, comments, anything. I appreciate it. Now, covering with probably the last part of this video, I may not get to story time, kind of depends, is Q&A. And really I won't cover names as far as who asked. I will more or less cover the question because at least in two or three of these questions were asked a lot of times. The first one, what companies have I worked for? Now, I work for PWA currently, that's Booker T's Pro Wrestling Alliance, where I'm a student at a school. I've mentioned this before, but I'll mention it again. I've worked for PCW, Professional Championship Wrestling out of Arlington, where they did have TV, local TV, as well as they do DVDs, and they've been currently running. They still are. NWA, their Southwest chapter, as well as a few other NWA spots, but I have worked for the National Wrestling Alliance, and I've worked for AAA in Mexico as well as CMLL in Mexico. Those are just a few, but I've worked a slew of indies, and I've worked quite a few places in the South. So there you go. I'm hoping to one day be capable of working for Ring of Honor or working for TNA or WWE. In fact, if any of them are wanting me, I'm here. Second one was, who do I know or who have I met? I've met a lot of guys in the business. I've been in it about 7 or 8 years, so that question's kind of, who do you know? I know plenty of guys. I got my start with Paul London. I know Lance Hoyt. I know Hernandez. Me and AJ Styles go back. Daniels and I have shared a locker room. Eddie Guerrero and I have shared a locker room. I was trained by Chavo Guerrero Sr., Booker T, obviously, Taker, Shelton Benjamin, Charlie Haas, CM Punk. I've met a lot of guys through working with Booker, but I knew Hernandez, Hoyt way back when. I've known London a long time. I know Brian Kendrick. I know a lot of guys. Those are guys that I've probably had conversations with, as well as like Jimmy Wang Yang and Jamie Noble, and there's so many others that I could say, hey, I know this guy, I know that guy. I know plenty of wrestlers. I'm in the business, but I'm not just in the business as far as, I have some guys who've gone beyond. I've been in the ring with the likes of Sabu, Umaga, Vampiro. I've been, talked to by agents such as Sergeant Slaughter and Fit Finley, and the list really does go on and on. I have certain guys that I tremendously respect, and I respect pretty much everyone in the business because we're all in it. Next vid will probably cover the most memorable time in wrestling, or be a vid that piggybacks on onto this one. But again, I appreciate all your comments, questions, anything you can provide. I appreciate all the support. Please keep subscribing, keep viewing, keep questioning. The debate continues. Again, stay cool, stay sexy, stay classy. But if you're cool, you're already in the Lucha Lounge.